Gentlemen, so we went from the West Coast, we came back to Charleston, we settled back into life as we had known it before. All of a sudden, all of that was whoosh, and we got back into jobs. Kids started coming along, everyday life, family life. And now the kids are kind of grownish. And the jobs turned into careers. And now you're kind of sitting back pondering, and some things are coming to you. And you have shifted, you have changed, but some passions have stayed within you. That seems like you are so in motion now, you are so on fire now, but it's kind of a quiet fire. It's kind of a determined, rather than a combustible flame. So what is it about now? What is it about now? And what's happening? And where are you? And why are you so determined to go? Which really brings me back to the very beginning, when we were talking about the phrases that we started with: deferred dream, dream expedited, coming back. We had to put it on hold. So let's go back to that frame of mind. And what is it about now? Why now?
Well, the whole thing behind Langston Hughes actually derives from a poem called A Dream Deferred, which is about, an individual is asking a question about what happens to a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Does it lie around? Does it ever go away? If you don't fulfill a dream, what happens to that dream?
Mm-hmm.
In essence, the dream never goes away. It always lingers around, and you could go through life wondering what you could have done with that idea or that dream that you had within you, or you could see it through. And when Herman came to me about changing the name, and Langston Hughes came about, we started to get into his poetry, and it's so funny how things just work. We had been on hiatus, well, especially me. Herman's always been active. I had been raising kids, I had been married and divorced, and just doing, I guess,
Life,
just
right?
life.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a thing that I just didn't quite get, didn't understand, was balance. You can still do the things that you love to do while going through life. Sometimes we allow life to dictate where we're going instead of saying, wait a minute, I'm the pilot, or
good,
me
yes.
and the high power, we are the pilot. This is where I want to go. And these are my gifts. These are my God-given gifts and talents. And this is what I want to do with it. Now, if you do everything that it is possible to try and to achieve a goal, there isn't much heartbreak or hurt that's going to be there, because you've done all you could do. And I'm sure there's a lot that you can learn on the journey. And not to drag it on, but in a nutshell, we let a dream not die, but kind of fall by the wayside.
Kind of like park. It got parked.
It got parked.
Mm-hmm.
And Herm was saying we should take our music at a more mature level. We need a mature name. We're not kids anymore. We don't talk about kid things anymore. We're parents. You know, we're men now. We pay bills. You know, we live life, and we see the world in a different perspective as an adult. So our topics are different now. You know, I'm not going to talk about
the topics that you would rhyme about, for instance. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, hip hop is a reflection of one's perception. You know, whether you're on the street.
I see, right.
You know, whether you're from the suburbs, you know, it's part skill and it's part life. You know,
it's just expressing it.
Right, and we're at a different place in life. So, when I started to really, when we started really to dig into Langston, who he was and his poetry, one stood out. In particular, a dream deferred, which Common Sense used to talk about a dream deferred a lot. So I actually had an opportunity to really dig into the poem, and it really opened up my eyes. It was like, man, this is us, because hip hop is a love. Rhyming, if you will, writing rhymes is a talent, God given, and for us not to do it because of age or what have you, it's a shame. You're robbing yourself. Miles Davis, Coltrane, you know, Stevie Wonder, you name it. No one stopped doing their love of music. Quincy Jones. No one stopped doing their love of music because of age. You know, it is a love. It is in you, and people try to put a age limit on hip hop because hip hop itself is still very young.
Yes,
and has always been a young man's
youthful expression.
Yeah, it's a youthful expression. Okay, we said that. We said that years ago when we were all very young. And hip hop was very young. So what happens to those same people who made that statement when they grow up? Is our love for the music change? It doesn't change.
Right.
We still
simply by adding years to you doesn't mean that the genre of your expression changes. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I was a jazz artist,
yes,
or anything else, it's more accepted. But when you really look at hip hop, this is a legit genre of music.
Good point. Yes, and a generation brought it to the table, and that generation's still here.
It's us.
Exactly.
That generation is us, and a little older than us, but that's what it's all about.
Can you recite a bit of that deferred poem?
Well, I cannot recite it word for word. I can paraphrase it.
Go ahead, give it to us.
He, in essence, he compares the dream. Like one thing he asks is like, what happens to a dream? Does it sit around like rotting meat? And when he made a comparison to rotting meat, it's like, okay, the meat was once fresh, all right. Okay, you didn't cook it. It sat around and it rotted. Couldn't eat it anymore, but still yet the remnants of it is there. You smell it. It's like, oh, it's still there. It never goes away.
Yes.
It never goes away, and it's always there. And why would you rob yourself of the opportunity to try and see something through?
Absolutely.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
I was in a funk for many years, for many different reasons, because of life. You know, between this guy here and other friends like young brother by the name of Thieve. He's another rapper. Mook Montana. Always reaching out, man. You need to get back in the booth. You need to get back in it. You know, you had the talent. You know, you need to get back in it. And when you hear your old music and you look at your life right now, and that bug starts to bite you, man.
And it still ignites that fire.
It does. So, once again, I don't want to drift off, but it's such a powerful thing for myself, and I can say the same thing for Herman. Very personal.
Would you like some wine?
Yes. Thank you. I'll take that glass.
You can't have mine. We'll get you some.
Yeah, I hear that, and there has to be something about where your life is now and the things that are done, maybe not captivating you 100% anymore, and maybe some of that has to do with the children that you do have. Do you feel any kind of responsibility to them as you pick this up again?
Sure.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, not only especially for my children and for his children, but for anyone. Langston and what we represent isn't just for music. It's for anyone who wants to pick up and start a business, anyone who wants to go back to school, anyone who wants to, travel somewhere that they never did, but we always let life dictate to us instead of us dictating to life. So that's what it's all about.
In my body, strong-willed and able. I aim to maintain in the world that's unstable. I aim to make a name, a brain change to the table. Other than your fiction and your fabricated fables. Be the first about the stable. To be the state rep, cause Karolina to shine from every written line. She gave me refuge, in turn I gave her anthems. The heat black on my skin, I'm looking like a phantom. Good old boys call me Spook.